Hello everyone, this is Gowthami. Welcome to my YouTube channel, GowthamiTechSkills. In this AI with Python series, we are going to learn so many interesting concepts. Let's begin. Now, we will see about split function. Split function it is going to separate the words into values. At that too, the variable type store agudana listed type store agudu. See, what is the syntax for this? Means the variable data neenga separate pannanum annittu. So variable name dot split function. So நம்ம already நம்ம கிட்ட ஒரு variable இருக்கு, that is a data variable. So in the data variable இருக்கிற data நான் split பண்ணணும், which means by default எங்கெங்க spaces இருக்குமோ அங்கங்க வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேல்யூ ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆகும். That means welcome என்ற ஒரு வேல்யூ, 2 என்றது ஒரு வேல்யூ, டேட்டா சயின்ஸ் என்றது ஒரு வேல்யூ, கோர்ஸ் என்றது ஒரு வேல்யூ ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆகும். So நம்ம இந்த parameters உள்ள மீன்ஸ் இந்த parenthesis உள்ள எதுமே கொடுக்கலனா meaning that by default you are separating the words where and all you have a space symbol. See here, now அது ஒரு வேரியபிளா ஸ்டோர் பண்ணிக்கணும் because it will return as a new data type. ஓகேவா? சோ அதுக்காக என்ன பண்றேன்னா l is equal to data dot split function கொடுத்துறேன். இப்போ நீங்க அந்த print of l variable ன்னு கொடுத்துட்டு அதை டைப் செக் பண்ணி பாருங்களேன், ரன் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பாருங்களேன், it is a list data type. நீங்க ஆக்சுவலா இந்த டேட்டான்றது ஸ்ட்ரிங், இந்த ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல இருக்கிற டேட்டா நீங்க ஸ்ப்ளிட் பண்றதுனால டிஃபால்ட்டா ஸ்பேசஸ் கிட்ட இருக்கிற ஒரு வேல்யூ ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆயிட்டு it is going to stored in the format of a list format. ஓகேவா? இல்ல மேம் இது டிஃபால்ட்டா ஸ்பேஸ் கிட்ட வரைக்கும் ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆகுது, எனக்கு வேணும்ன்ற கேரக்டர் கிட்ட நான் ஸ்ப்ளிட் பண்ணலாமான்னா yes, definitely you can split it. See here, same code நான் காப்பி பண்ணி இங்க பேஸ்ட் பண்றேன். I am just giving up some other variable name. இங்க நான் எங்கெங்க ஓகேவா எங்கெங்க e இருக்கோ அங்கங்க வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேல்யூவா ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆகும்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஓகேவா? தட் மீன்ஸ் w என்றது ஒரு வேல்யூ ட்ரீட் ஆகும், இப்போ e என்றது ஒரு செப்பரேட்டா ட்ரீட் ஆகும். So this is one value and this is a separator, it will not print. That means it is going to make it like a separator என்ற மாதிரி. So now welcome இந்த இது வந்துட்டு இங்கல இருந்து இங்க வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேர்ட் ஒரு வேல்யூ, e என்றது செப்பரேட்டர், திரும்பி this is our string, right? இது நம்மளோட string. So w என்றது ஒரு வேல்யூ, e என்றது செப்பரேட்டர், l இருந்து m வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேல்யூ, e என்றது again செப்பரேட்டர், அங்கக்கு ஸ்ப்ளிட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. திரும்பி ஸ்பேஸ்ல இருந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் e வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேல்யூ, e என்றது திரும்பி செப்பரேட்டர், திரும்பி n ல இருந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் e வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேல்யூ, இது செப்பரேட்டர், திரும்பி இந்த ஸ்பேஸ்ல இருந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் e வரைக்கும் ஒரு வேல்யூ. சோ இப்ப ரன் பண்ணி பாத்தீங்கன்னா see here, this is how it looks. ஓகேவா? see ma, one second. Yes ma. Next இப்போ split function understand ஆச்சா எல்லாருக்குமே? Split function understand ஆச்சா?
Yes ma'am.
Next there is a one function called join function. Okay. Okay, join function எதுக்காக யூஸ் ஆகுது? ஒரு டேட்டா டைப்ல இருக்கிற வேல்யூஸ் எல்லாமே ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டு ஸ்ட்ரிங்கா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்ப நான் என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, என்கிட்ட ஒரு டுபிள் டேட்டா இருக்குன்னு எடுத்துக்கோங்களேன். லெட் அஸ் டேக் t is equal to டுபிள் எப்படி ரெப்ரசென்ட் பண்றோம்? வேல்யூஸ் எல்லாமே எதர் parenthesis உள்ள வச்சுட்டு காமால செப்பரேட் பண்றோம், ஆர் வித்அவுட் parenthesis வேல்யூஸ் காமால செப்பரேட் பண்றோம், அப்ப அது டுபிள். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கம்பல்சரி நீங்க ஜாயின் பண்ணணும்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கீங்கன்னா ஒரு டேட்டால இருக்கிற வேல்யூஸ் அது எல்லாமே கம்பல்சரி ஸ்ட்ரிங்காவே இருக்கணும். ஓகேவா? சோ இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா நான் என்ன பண்றேன், ஹலோ ஒரு வேல்யூ, இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு ஹலோ, இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு எவ்ரிவன், இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு வெல்கம், இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு 2, இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு ஓகே my, இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு classes, இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு @ இன்னொரு வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு 6. இங்க எல்லாமே ஸ்ட்ரிங் இருக்கு, இது மட்டும் இன்டிஜரா இருக்கு. இந்த மாதிரி இருந்துட்டு நீங்க ஜாயின் ஃபங்க்ஷன் இந்த வேரியபிள் மேல அப்ளை பண்ணீங்கன்னா எரர் வந்துடும். சோ இது கூட ஸ்ட்ரிங்காவே இருக்கணும், மேக் ஷூர். ஓகேவா? சோ இப்போ இந்த t வேரியபிள் பிரிண்ட் பண்ணுங்க. t அதே டைம்ல டைப்ல செக் பண்ணுங்க. see நீங்க எந்த விதமா கொடுத்திருக்கீங்களோ அதே விதமா வந்திருக்கு. இட் இஸ் a tuple data type. நானு இந்த டுப்புல்ல இருக்கிற டேட்டா எல்லாமே ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரிங்கா கொண்டு வரணும். அப்போ you can apply this join function. So இந்த values join பண்ணும்போது what is the separator that you want to give? I want to generate the spaces. So what is the syntax here is you need to give the separator. Separator is a string. அது ஸ்பேஸ் அண்ணா இருக்கலாம், hyphen symbol அண்ணா இருக்கலாம், whatever the symbol it may be. It is a character only. So you should place inside the quotes dot join function. எந்த வேரியபிள்ல இருக்கிற டேட்டா நீங்க ஜாயின் பண்ணணும்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கீங்களோ அந்த வேரியபிள் நேம். So it is going to return on new data type. See here, I'm going to give it as new is equal to, I'm applying that syntax. Okay. So I want to separate each and every value that is provided in the tuple is space. Space, that is a character, that's a string, dot join function. எந்த வேரியபிள் இருக்கிற டேட்டா t வேரியபிள் இருக்கிறது. இப்போ நீங்க அந்த வேரியபிள் பிரிண்ட் பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டு சேம் டைம் டேட்டா டைப் செக் பண்ணி பாருங்க. சோ ரன் பண்ணி பாத்தீங்கன்னா அது எல்லாமே கம்பைன் பண்ணி வந்திருக்கும். தட் இஸ் a string data type. இங்க டுப்புல இருக்கணுமானா இல்ல, லிஸ்ட்ல கூட கொடுத்துட்டு சீக்வென்ஷியலா இருக்கிற டேட்டா டைப்ஸ் கொடுத்துட்டு நீங்க பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஓகேவா? சோ ரிமெம்பர், if I am giving integer அப்ப வர்க் ஆகுமான்னா கண்டிப்பா ஆகாது, எரர் கொடுத்துரும் பாருங்க. expected string instant integer found in it. ஓகேவா? சோ make sure all values in that data type must and should be like a string data type. Otherwise it throws an error. So understand also in the join function நம்ம last tuple data typeல ஒரு question பார்த்திருந்தோம். delimiter hyphen delimiter ஏதாவது ஒரு சென்டென்ஸ் கொடுத்துட்டு அந்த tuple இருக்கிற values print பண்ணும்போது every value நடுவுல delimiter hyphen இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லிருக்கேன். அப்போ சிம்பிளா இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் அப்ளை பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப ஈஸியா ஆயிடும். This is about join function. Next, we are going to see one more function called capitalize function. What is this capitalize function will do? இது என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னா நம்மளோட string data யூஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு நியூ string கிரியேட் பண்ணுது. அந்த நியூ stringல டேட்டா என்ன இருக்கும்னா நம்ம கொடுத்திருக்கிற டேட்டா மாதிரி இருக்காது. just do some changes based on that functionality. Capitalize functionality. Capitalize ஓட functionality என்னதுன்னா the first letter of the given string converts to the capital letter. இப்போ நம்மளோட கிட்ட ஒரு வேரியபிள் இருக்கு, that is called data என்ற வேரியபிள்ல நான் டேட்டா ஸ்டோர் பண்ணிருக்கேன். சோ இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்லாமே இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த கேரக்டர். சோ இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா இங்க பாருங்களேன், இங்க பாருங்களேன், வெல்கம் டு டேட்டா சயின்ஸ் கோர்ஸ். இது கம்ப்ளீட் சென்டென்ஸ் யூசுவலி அந்த டேட்டா வேரியபிள் இருக்குது. நான் எப்ப இந்த கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன் இந்த வேரியபிள் மேல அப்ளை பண்றனோ இட் வில் கிரியேட் a நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங். அது எப்படி இருக்கும்னா இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனாலிட்டி அந்த ஸ்ட்ரிங் டேட்டா மேல அப்ளை ஆகும். எப்படின்னா எல்லா கேரக்டர்ஸ் லோயர் கேஸ்ல இருக்கணும் எக்ஸெப்ட் த ஸ்டார்டிங் லெட்டர் ஷுட் பி a கேபிட்டல். ஒரு ஸ்டார்டிங் லெட்டருமே கேபிட்டலா இருக்கும், ரிமைனிங் எல்லாமே ஸ்மால் கேஸ்ல இருக்கும். இங்க நீங்க பாருங்க கேபிட்டல் டி, கேபிட்டல் எஸ், கேபிட்டல் சி ன்னு கொடுத்துருக்கீங்க, அது எல்லாமே லோயரா கன்வெர்ட் ஆகும். சி இப்ப நான் அந்த நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங் கிரியேட் ஆயிருக்கிறதுனால நான் ஒரு வேரியபிள் கிரியேட் பண்ணிக்கிறேன், நியூ str ன்னு கொடுத்துட்டு இதோட ஃபார்முலா என்னதுன்னா எந்த வேரியபிள் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்கன்றது கொடுக்கணும். வேரியபிள் நேம் டாட் கேபிட்டலைஸ். இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனாலிட்டி இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் எந்த வேரியபிள் மேல அப்ளை பண்றீங்களோ அந்த வேரியபிள் நேம் டாட் கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன். ஸோ இது அதே மாதிரி டேட்டா வேரியபிள் மேல அப்ளை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஸோ கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன் கொடுத்துட்டேன். ஸோ இப்போ ட்ரை டு பிரிண்ட் தட் நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங் வேரியபிள். ஸோ பாருங்களேன், ஒரு ஸ்டார்டிங் லெட்டர் கேபிட்டலா இருந்துட்டு ரெஸ்ட் அண்ட் ஆல் கன்வெர்டட் டு த லோயர் கேஸ் லெட்டர்ஸ். இது வந்துட்டு நம்மளோட ஒரிஜினல் ஸ்ட்ரிங்குக்கு எஃபெக்ட் ஆயிருக்காது. ஓகேவா? வேணும்னா கிராஸ் செக் பண்ணி பாருங்க, நம்மளோட ஸ்ட்ரிங் அப்படியே இருக்கு பாருங்க. இட் இஸ் இம்யூட்டபிள் டேட்டா டைப், அதுல எந்த சேஞ்சஸும் பாக்குறதுக்கு ஆகாது. ஒரு நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் கிரியேட் பண்றதுக்காகும். இப்போ நம்ம ஆப்ரேட்டர்ஸ் பார்த்துருக்கோம், லைக் கன்காட்டினேஷன் ஆகட்டும், ரிப்பீட்டேஷன் ஆகட்டும், அடுத்தது ரிப்பீட்டேஷன், அதில் தான் நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறது. அதே விதமா இந்த கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஆகட்டும், இந்த ஜாயின் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகட்டும், அடுத்தது இந்த ஸ்பிளிட் ஆகட்டும், நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் தான் கிரியேட், நாட் ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் ஐ கேன் சே இந்த ஸ்பிளிட் அண்ட் இங்க ஜாயின்ல. ஸோ வித் த ஹெல்ப் ஆஃப் string data type, you are creating some other data type like list. இங்க ஒரு டேட்டா டைப்ல இருந்து ஸ்ட்ரிங்கா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. பட் இப்ப நீங்க பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கிறது கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஆகட்டும், இப்ப சம் அதர் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் கூட பாக்குறோம் இல்லையா, அது எல்லாமே நம்மளோட ஸ்ட்ரிங் டேட்டா டைப், ஸ்ட்ரிங் வேரியபிள் யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு நியூ ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் கிரியேட் ஆகும். இட் வில் நாட் எஃபெக்ட் டு த ஒரிஜினல் ஸ்ட்ரிங். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் வாட் கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன். அடுத்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஜஸ்ட் இதெல்லாம் அப்படியே காப்பி பண்ணிக்கிட்டு லிட்டில் சேஞ்சஸ் பார்க்க போறோம். ஸோ இங்க கேபிட்டலைஸ் பிளேஸ்ல நான் என்ன கொடுக்குறேன்னா, ஐ ஆம் கோயிங் டு ப்ரொவைட் இந்த கேபிட்டலைஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன் பிளேஸ்ல ஐ ஆம் கோயிங் டு ப்ரொவைட் ஒன் மோர் ஃபங்க்ஷன் கால்ட் லோவர் ஃபங்க்ஷன். இந்த லோயர் ஃபங்க்ஷன் என்ன பண்ணுது? It will convert all the characters to the lowercase letters. If there is any capital letter, all capital will be to lower. If already in lower, it will be lower only. Wherever it is having capital, only those characters will be to lowercase. So now run and check it. See, this is our string, original string. In the string மேல நீங்க அப்ளை பண்ணீங்க lower function. பாருங்க, இந்த எதுமே upper case இருக்காது, எல்லாமே lowerல இருக்கு. Is there any effect to the original string? No, it's as it is. இல்ல மேம், எங்களுக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளா கொடுங்க, இதுவே வேணாம்னப்ப நம்ம என்ன பண்ணோம், வேரியபிள் கிரியேட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. d is equal to, நான் என்ன பண்றேன்னா எல்லாமே கேபிட்டல் இல்லாம இந்த மாதிரி கொடுத்துறேன், பைத்தன் @6 PM அப்படிட்டு கொடுத்துட்டேன். ஸோ இங்க வந்துட்டு லோவர் கேஸ் இருக்கு, அப்பர் கேஸ் இருக்கு, சிம்பிள் இருக்கு, டிஜிட்ஸ் கூட இருக்கு. பட் இந்த லோயர் ஃபங்க்ஷன் வில் பி ஃபார் ஓன்லி த ஆல்பாபெட்டிக்கல் கேரக்டர்ஸ். கரெக்டா? ஸோ இந்த டிஜிட்ஸ் என்ன இருக்கட்டும், சிம்பிள்ஸ் என்ன இருக்கட்டும், அது அப்படியே இருக்கும். எங்கெங்க அப்பர் கேஸ் லெட்டர்ஸ் இருக்குமோ அது எல்லாமே லோயரா மாத்தும். லோயரா இருக்கிறது அப்படியே இருக்கும். ஸோ இப்போ ரன் பண்ணி இது பாருங்க, இங்க வந்துட்டு நீங்க வேரியபிள் கூட சேஞ்ச் பண்ணணும், வேரியபிள் கூட சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுங்க. ஸோ இப்போ ரன் பண்ணி பாருங்க. see here, நீங்க கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்கிறது இது. ஆக்சுவலா இங்க முன்னாடி கூட நீங்க பிரிண்ட் பண்ணி பாருங்க வேரியபிள். ஸோ இனிஷியலா கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்கிறது நீங்க எப்படி கிரியேட் பண்ணீங்களோ அப்படியே இருக்கு. ஒன்ஸ் லோயர் ஃபங்க்ஷன் அப்ளை பண்ணி அப்புறமா பாருங்க எல்லாமே லோயர் கேஸ்ல இருக்கு. ஓகேவா? திரும்பி எஃபெக்ட் ஆயிருக்கான்னு செக் பண்ணி பார்க்கும்போது எந்த எஃபெக்ட் நடக்கல. தட் இஸ் அபவுட் லோயர் ஃபங்க்ஷன். Simply copy this snippet and paste it here. Wherever I am having a lower function, there and all I am changing it to upper function. Upper function. So in the upper function quite opposite. எங்கெங்க lower case letters இருக்குமோ அங்க எல்லாமே upper case ஆ மாத்திடும். அது சிம்பிள்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கட்டும், டிஜிட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கட்டும், நாட் a matter there. அதுக்கு எதுவுமே இல்ல, டிஸ்டர்பன்ஸ் இல்ல. கேரக்டர்ஸ் மேல மட்டும் தான் எஃபெக்ட். இது லோயர், அப்பர், கேபிட்டலைஸ், டைட்டில் கேஸ், ஸ்வாப் கேஸ், அது எல்லாமே. ஸோ இப்போ இங்க வந்துட்டு என்கிட்ட வந்துட்டு இங்க சம் ஆஃப் த கேரக்டர்ஸ் ஆர் இன் லோயர், சம் ஆஃப் த கேரக்டர்ஸ் ஆர் இன் அப்பர். அப்பர்ல இருக்கிறது அப்படியே இருக்கும், எங்கெங்க லோயர் ஆயிருக்குமோ அது எல்லாமே அப்பரா மாத்தும். ஸோ இங்க TH அடுத்தது PM லோயர்ல இருக்கு. ஸோ when you apply this upper function, it will be like what? Upper case letters. பாருங்க எல்லாமே அப்பர்ல இருக்கு, என்ன சேஞ்சஸ் நடக்கல. அத ஃபங்க்ஷன் அப்ளை பண்ணா கூட இட்ஸ் இம்மியூட்டபிள். அதுக்காக so அதே கோட் காப்பி, திரும்பி பேஸ்ட். now we are going to learn one more function called swap case function. swap case function என்ன பண்ணுது? swap case function வந்துட்டு ரெண்டு வேலை பண்ணும். லோயர் கேஸ்ல இருக்கிறது அப்பர் கேஸா மாத்தும், அப்பர் கேஸ்ல இருக்கிறது லோயர் கேஸா மாத்தும். ஓகேவா? சோ இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா இதெல்லாம் PYON அப்பர்ல இருக்கு. இந்த ஸ்வாப் கேஸ் அப்ளை பண்ணிருக்கிறதுனால அது லோயர் கேஸா கன்வெர்ட் ஆயிருக்கும். இந்த TH இந்த PM லோயர்ல இருக்கு, அது அப்பர் கேஸா மாத்தும். ரெண்டு வேலை பண்ணும். சோ இப்ப ரன் பண்ணி பாத்தீங்கன்னா இங்க பாருங்களேன், ஜஸ்ட் செக் இட். இங்க முன்னாடி கம்பேர் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, முன்னாடி இருக்கிற ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல கம்பேர் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா you can see the difference. That is what swap case. அடுத்தது just copy this. To save my time, I am just copying and pasting now. You can change the data and apply these functions to understand more about it. Okay, wow. So I am just changing one more function, that is title function. So title oda functionality enna first நான் இங்க change பண்ணிடுறேன் data இப்போ. So what I'm going to do here is welcome to my interesting classes. So என்கிட்ட இருக்கிற data இதுவே தான். என்கிட்ட இருக்கிற data என்னதுமா? This is my data. Just நான் changes காட்டணும் அன்றதுக்காக நடுவுல அங்கங்க ஒரு capital letters வச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஓகேவா? உங்களுக்கு difference காட்டணும்னு. So in the D variable in the sentence irukku. Sentence is nothing but collection of words. Correct? So this is a sentence. When I apply this title function on this sentence variable, enna agudana, it will convert all letters to smaller case except beginning letter of the each word. என்ன பண்ணுது, எல்லா லெட்டர்ஸ் லோயர் கேஸா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணிடும் எக்ஸெப்ட் இந்த ஸ்டார்டிங் லெட்டர் ஆஃப் த ஈச் வேர்ட் மட்டுமே அது கேபிட்டலா சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்கும். இப்ப இது ரன் பண்ணி பாருங்களேன். சி, இது நான் கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்கிறது. நீங்க டைட்டில் ஃபங்க்ஷன் அப்ளை பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா? எல்லாமே லோயர் கேஸ்ல இருக்கு எக்ஸெப்ட் த ஸ்டார்டிங் லெட்டர் ஆஃப் த ஈச் வேர்ட் பி கேபிட்டல். தட் இஸ் வாட் அ டைட்டில் ஃபங்க்ஷன். பல ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் வந்துட்டு is lower function, is upper function, later is digit function, later is alpha function, then is all num function, then we have some function called is space function. Okay, is upper function actually, yeah, yes. So these kind of functions will be covering. Okay, wow. So what is the purpose of using these functions now? செக் பண்ணுமா நம்மளோட ஸ்ட்ரிங் வெதர் அந்த ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல எல்லாமே லோயர் கேஸா இருந்துச்சுன்னா when you are applying this function it returns true value. If it is not there it returns false value. Same way is upper function என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னா, நம்ம அப்ளை இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் எந்த வேரியபிள் மேல அப்ளை பண்றோமோ அந்த வேரியபிள்ல இருக்கிற லெட்டர்ஸ் எல்லாமே கேபிட்டல் லெட்டர்ல இருந்துச்சுன்னா ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் ட்ரூ, இல்லையா ஃபால்ஸ் ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ணும். is digit function என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னா, நம்ம அப்ளை பண்ண போற வேரியபிள்ல எல்லாமே டிஜிட்ஸா இருக்கணும். தட் டு ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல. ஓகேவா? கர்லி மீன்ஸ் கொட்டேஷன்ஸ் உள்ள ஓன்லி டிஜிட்ஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் ட்ரூ, இல்லையா ஃபால்ஸ். is ஆல்ஃபானா ஓன்லி கேரக்டர் லெட்டர்ஸ் அன்னிட்டு. லெட்டர்ஸ்ன்றது எதர் லோயர் கேஸ் லெட்டர்ஸ் அண்ணா இருக்கலாம், அப்பர் கேஸ் லெட்டர்ஸ் அண்ணா இருக்கலாம். இஃப் இட் இஸ் சம் அதர் லைக் டிஜிட்ஸா இருக்கட்டும், சிம்பிள்ஸா இருக்கட்டும், ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் ஃபால்ஸ். is all numna ரெண்டு combinations like alphabets இருக்கலாம், like lower case and upper case, either numbers இருக்கலாம், ரெண்டு combination இருக்கலாம், individual கூட இருக்கலாம். இருந்துச்சா true, other than that like symbols இருந்துச்சா then false. is space and only spaces, and the character means and the quotations உள்ள only space இருக்கணும். இருந்துச்சா true. if you are giving a letters, digits, symbols, false. ஓகேவா? சோ இப்போ இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாமே என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னா checks the string whether it's satisfying its functionality or not. ஓகேவா? so we'll see one by one. so first function என்ன படிக்கிறோம்னா is lower function. so இந்த lower functionக்கு நான் first ஒரு variable create பண்ணிக்கிறேமா. so where I'm having, otherwise you just give here itself. okay, ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு ஒரு variable create பண்ணா நமக்கு ஈஸியா இருக்கும். so is lower function check பண்ணனும். let us see here. s is equal to, I am writing Python @6 PM அன்னிட்டு கொடுத்துட்டேன் நான். So in the S variable it's a combination of letters, symbols and digits. When I try to apply this function on this variable, what is the output it will return for us? It's a Boolean value it will return. Okay. Is it satisfying this lower function? No, because where it contains a capital letter also. Getting my point? See here, what I'll do. So first I'll print this s variable. Now I'm applying, it will return a new value, right? So print of s dot, okay, s dot is lower function. So run the file. You can see it is returning false. Reason? You have a capital letter. If I have given a small case letter, then it returns true. Don't bother about these symbols and digits. Okay, you just bother about only the alphabets. Okay, lower case and upper case only for alphabets, right? So if you are having a digits and symbols also, it will not applicable to that. Okay, so now all the letters are in lowercase, so that's why it's returning true. Okay, yes. The next function, I'll just copy this and I'm pasting it here and I'll apply, make it as upper function. So here I'll just do some changes. Let us write in this way. Okay, here what I have here is Python where there is a one single small case letter and here also small case letter. If I apply this is upper function on it, okay, so try to run, it returns false for us. So why? Because you have a lowercase letter, that's why this condition is not satisfying. If all the letters are in uppercase, then it will return output as true. Okay, and the next function that we are going to teach here is digit. What is this meaning? So when you are applying this function on that string variable, that string must and should contain only the digits. But here we are having a combination of letters, symbols, and digits. So that time it returns false only. For suppose if I have given only 6 like this, is it true? No, because there's a symbol. So it returns false only again. When it returns true, there should be only the digits. Then it returns true. Is digit. Okay, and the next function that we are going to learn here is all num. What is the meaning of all num? It may contain either letters or digits, or it's a combination also. For suppose here I'm having what, 600. Okay, it returns true for us only. For suppose if you have only the characters, that means letters, either it may be lowercase or uppercase, then it also returns true. Combination of those two also, okay. Combination of those two, letters and digits also, okay. When it returns false, if you are having any kind of symbol, then it is not recommended. It returns false for us. All num, combination of alphabets or digits, or alphabets only or digits only, like that. And there is a one more function called alpha. What is mean by alpha? Only letters. Either it should be lowercase or it should be uppercase. For suppose if I am having only the what character, only the letters. Okay, so now if it returns true only. Okay, if it is all in capital letters, then also it returns true only. Combination of those lowercase letters and uppercase letters, true only. When it returns false. If there is any symbol or digit other than letters, for suppose if I'm writing Python 6, so there is a digit available, that time it returns false for us. So okay, for suppose if I'm giving symbol, that time also it returns false. So must and should have only the letters if you are giving this function on that variable. Then there is a one function called is space. Only spaces should be present in that string. Okay, so now see here what I'll do. I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So now here what I'll do, welcome to Python course. So I have given spaces in between the letters. Is it correct? No, it returns false for us. They are saying only the spaces, either single space or multiple spaces, then it returns true. Only space should be present. So this is what the purpose of using these functions, is num, is alpha, like that. Okay, so now there is a one function is called replace function. Usually when I try to replace any character in the original string through index, it throws an error. But using this replace function, you can do the replacement, but it will not affect to the original one. Then what it will do? It will create a new string just by replacing the character where you want, and it will create a new string. See what I'm saying? For suppose if I'm having this sentence, okay, welcome to Python course. Okay, now I just want to change this word to programming. Usually it is not possible with the help of index because it is an immutable data type. So now try to print that variable, print of s. Okay, so what is the syntax for doing the replacement here is, in which variable you want to do replacement, that variable name dot replace function. So you should give the existing character. Okay, that should be in sequence. Okay, existing character, and with what you want to replace that characters you should give. Characters is nothing but it's a combination of letters, digits, or symbols. Okay. So now what I'll do here is, so it is going to create a new string. That's why I'm going to create one variable and storing that syntax in this variable. So s dot replace function. So in place of this course, right? So that is my existing characters, group of characters. So in this place, I just want to replace with the name called programming. Now try to print that variable. What happens? It is going to create a new string. You can cross check whether it is affected to the original one. No, it is creating a new string for us. So by this, you can replace with the help of a replace function. Okay. Till here understood, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now what we will do here is we will see some programs. Why we will make use of these functions, is space, is alpha, is all num, is digit. Why we will make use of this? See, let's have a small example. See here, write a Python program to find how many lowercase letters, okay, and uppercase letters in the given string. I need to find out. Okay, I will use one string, right? In that string, how many lowercase letters are there and how many uppercase letters are there? We need to write the program. Okay, so now see, let's give one string. S is equal to, I'm just writing, okay, welcome to Python course. So actually, this is my sentence where it is a combination of lowercase letters, uppercase letters, and also you have a spaces also. Correct? Now I need the count. How many is nothing but what? The count. Count. Correct? So usually what we will do, so to know the count, we're going to create, to store the count value of the lowercase and the uppercase, we'll create two variables for storing the count value. So what I will do, lower count, I'm going to create one variable. So first I'm going to initialize with what value? 0. Initially, I don't know how many lowercase characters are present in that string. So that's why I initialize with 0. Same way, I don't know how many characters, uppercase letters are there also, I don't know. So that's why I just initialize with the value 0. Now what I will do, while traveling, okay, while traveling each and every value, I will check whether the character is lowercase letter or uppercase letter. We learned the functions, right? Is lower function, is upper function. It will check it, right? If it is lower, it will go inside and it will increment the count. If it is upper, it will go inside and it will increment the upper count, like that. So for checking each and every value, I need to iterate the string data type, string variable, so that it will visit each and every character. How many times that loop will get iterated? The length of the string. So see, for I in S. So you are going to iterate this loop till the end of the string. So for every iteration, character will be stored in this I variable. So now what I need to check? Whatever the character you are storing in this, you need to check whether it is a lowercase letter or uppercase letter. For that, I'm going to provide a condition if I dot is lower function. If it is lower, what I need to do? I need to increment this count. What I need to do? I need to increment this count by 1. Increment this count by what? 1. If this condition is not satisfying, what you will do? You will go to the else block. So here actually you have spaces also. You should not write else. If you write else, what happens? If it is not a lowercase letter, it will come to the else block and it will count this upper count. Okay, it will going to increment the upper count. But here we have spaces also. Then those, when this one comes also, it will increment to the upper count only. So now see here what I will do. I just written like this only. We'll check now first. So first what it will do, it will read this w to this variable. It will check capital W is lower? No. That time it will come to the else block and upper count will become now what? It will update to 1. Again, it will iterate and it will move to this character and this character will be stored in this variable. Is small e is lower? Yes. Is this condition true? Yes. Then it will come inside. Now the lower count will get incremented by 1. It is updated to 1 now. Again, it will increment. Okay, again, it will iterate. This character is going to store in this variable. Small l dot is lower. Yes. Again, it will come inside. It will increment. Now, lower count is 1. So, 1 plus 1 is now what? Lower count is 2. Again, it will iterate. It will move to this place. What is the character there? That character will be stored here. Cap small c is lower? Yes, it will be correct. So again, this count will be increased to 2, 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. Correct? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till here. Now you reach this place. This space is going to be stored in this variable. Here it will check. Space is lower. No. Then it will come to the else block and here. So whatever the conditions will come other than this will be catching this block. Correct? So the upper count will increment by 1. Is this correct actually? No. No, I'll show it now. I'll just like that until the end of the string, it will be doing like that only. But whenever the space coming, it should not upgrade this value. Okay, now see, run the program. So here I'm not getting any value. The reason here is once the iteration is finished, I need to print this values what it is upgraded. Correct? So I need to print these variables. So that what it will do, it will be giving the count of the lower count. Okay, well, lower case count. So in which variable you store, that variable will give. So same way what I will do. So I'm going to print uppercase count. So what is the variable that you have given here is upper. So now run the program. What are the values that is updated? You will get it. So now check it here. Lowercase letters is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is correct. This output is correct. Come to the uppercase count. Actual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you are getting it as 13 because these spaces are also added for us. These 3 spaces also. So that is the reason instead of writing the else, you should write elif and you write the condition is upper. You should specify it correctly. If it is upper only, that time it should be get upgraded. If other than these 2 conditions, you don't need that one. That's why I'm not writing in the else block. Okay, I just need to count only the lowercase letters and uppercase letters. Other than that, I don't want. That's why I'm not using. So now run and check it. Now it's exactly giving the outputs. Getting my point, what I'm saying here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Okay. Next, what I can do? For suppose, if I want to display the spaces count also, then simple. Here you provide else block. So actually, in this string, we have only lowercase, uppercase, and spaces. Remaining and all you will get in the else block. So you generate one variable that is a space count. Initially, it is 0. So whenever you are getting the space, it is going to come in this side and it is going to increment this count. Okay. So plus equal to 1. So now I'm going to print the space count also. So you can write it here. Space count. And what is the variable you have given? That variable you give, just run it and you check it. So now see how many spaces are there? 3 spaces. Okay. Let's see one more program. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is, till here understood everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
One more program. Write a program to find only digits, and sum and find sum of those digits present in the string, present in the given string. So let's create one string. See, S is equal to Harita 1, 2, 3. Okay, at the underscore 5, 2, I'll just write it some number here, 9, okay, at the rate of gmail.com. Actually, this is one string where you need to find the digits, only digits, and I need to find the sum of all those digits. How can we find this? Let's see. First, what I'm going to do here is, for finding the digits, I'm going to make use of one variable, and for updating the sum value, I'm going to create a one variable. So see here, otherwise you just do the sum itself. So you are doing sum, right? So first to find the digits. For finding the digits, we have one function. Correct. So make use of that function. Whenever you are getting that digit, that time you just do addition. That's it. So now what I will do, I'll just create one variable. Initially my sum is 0. To identify the digit, what I will do, I will travel each and every character. And while traveling, I will check whether it is a digit or not. So now see here, for I in S. So while traveling, each and every character will be stored in this variable. Now you will check it. If I dot is digit function, if it is a digit, then what you need to do? You should upgrade this sum value. That is, sum is equal to sum plus I. So what the value you are getting from this string, that value should be added to this variable. Sum is equal to sum plus I. So until the end of the string, this loop will iterated. For every character, it will check wherever the digit you are getting, that value will be added to this sum variable. Once it is done, you will come out of the loop. Okay. So now see here, sum. I'm going to print that variable. Will you see the output here? Obviously no, error, because here the I variable you are getting digit only, but it is a string data. What you need to do, while adding to this sum variable, the string digit should be converted to the integer here. You should convert to integer. Then you just run it. Now you will see the sum. So 9 plus 1 is what? 10. 10 plus 2, 12. 12 plus 3, 15. 15 plus 5, 10. 20. 20 plus 2, 22. See, every character, okay, in the string, if it is a digit, it will treat it like a string only. While adding it, you need to convert to the integer. Then you will get the sum. A new concept called functions. Very, very important concept, functions. So what is the use of these functions? So what and all we use till now, those and all called predefined functions like len function, min function, max function, what and all you see, replace, join, split, that and all predefined functions. Now we are learning the user defined functions. The meaning here is you are going to create some logic and you are giving some name to that logic, so that where and all you want, instead of writing the logic again and again, you simply give a name to that logic, so that the code size will also getting reduced. Correct. So for reusing the code, you will make use of these functions. Getting my point to everyone? For suppose, what I am telling here is, let us print some statements. Okay. What I am going to do here is, welcome to Python course. Again, one more print function. Okay. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, print on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so I'm having these three statements, ma'am. So just run it, you will see the output. Now what I'm saying here is, I want to use these three statements repeatedly in my program, not in sequential way, in different places. Means randomly I want to use these three statements. So if you want to generate, if you want to use repeatedly, then we will make use of iterative statements. But what I'm saying, I want to repeat these three lines of statements randomly. Then make use of the functions. So if you don't know the functions concept, what we will do usually, we'll see here. For suppose if I am performing arithmetic operations now. Arithmetic operations is nothing but performing addition, then subtraction, then multiplication, and so on. Okay, let's perform these three. So after every operation, I need to print these three lines. Okay, after performing addition, I need to print these three lines. After performing subtraction, I need to print these three lines. After performing multiplication, I want to print these lines. Usually what we will do, if you don't know the functions concept, we'll see now. See, I'll just create two variables. Let's take n1 is equal to 100. Okay, n2 is equal to 50. So now what I will do, I'm going to print addition. So I'm just using the format string. Okay, so addition, and I'm giving variables inside the curly brackets. Okay, so it will give addition for us. So after printing this addition, what I need to print? I need to print these three lines. So what I'll do, I'll copy and I'll paste it here. Now I need to perform subtraction. So what I will do, so same numbers I'm taking. So you just apply subtraction on those two variables, that is minus symbol. After printing this subtraction, I need to print these three lines. So I copied and pasted. Later, I want to perform multiplication on those two variables only. So again, what I'm doing, I'm just making use of this and providing star symbol between two variables. So after printing this, again, I need to print these three statements. So you're having a similar data. Then what you're doing here, copying and pasting. So when you are repeating the same data again and again, the size of the code is getting increased. See now, if you print, you'll get the output. And also I need to give some separations after doing this operation. What I'll do, print function. So let's generate this kind of lines. So copy, and after these three lines, I want to generate this for every time. So I want to repeat these five lines. Like first, it should be like this complete thing. I need to repeat it again and again. So that time we are making use of like this. So instead of doing in this way, what we can do here is just write this common code, okay, by creating some functions. How to create a functions? How to create a function? Using a keyword called def keyword. Okay, see here, def followed by the function name. You should write that function name is nothing but an identifier. What are the rules that we have learned for the identifiers? That rules will be applicable for this function name also. Okay, so it should not begin with an integer. It should not be a keyword. Then it is a combination of alphabets, digits, and underscore symbol. Okay, that all we have learned, right? So while creating the function name also, you should follow those rules. Okay, statements. I'm just giving function name as statements. So once you are writing the function name, it should end with a parenthesis. And to represent the block, you will make use of a colon symbol inside this. What is the code that you want to place inside that function name? That will be given. Okay, so now I will run this. Will you be able to see any output? No. Why? Because you just created the function name and what and all you want to place in that function you have given. To print it, you should call this function, call that function name. So if you call this function name, what and all you have given inside that and all will get executed. Now run this. See, you are getting these 5 lines. So when now I want to make use of these 5 lines repeatedly wherever I want in my program. Instead of doing like this, what I will do, just copy the same cell, copy this cell and paste it below this. Now I'm going to implement using this functions. Paste it. Now where and all I copied, right, these statements, just remove those 5 lines of statements. Remove it. Remove it. Now what I will do, where and all I need, there and all you simply call this function name. That's it. Just call the function name. Just call the function name. Just call the function name. Can you observe the size of the code? Yes. Now run the program. Now see, you got the same output. Correct? This is what the usage of functions. So there are few things learn பண்ண போறோம். இங்க நம்ம ஒரு function create பண்ணும்போது இந்த parenthesis உள்ள எதுமே கொடுக்கலனா what we will call it as without parameters. What we will call it as without parameters. Okay, so how you have created the function name, while calling you should call in that manner only. You didn't provide any parameters inside this. While calling also you should not pass anything. Okay, so what is the usage of passing the parameters inside the parenthesis? So usually let's have an example. See, name is equal to Gowthami. Okay, okay, course is equal to Python. Okay, so I'm having two variables. I just want to make use of these variable values inside the function. Then what we will do? Create the function def display. Okay, here inside this, okay, we know to create the functions, right? Def display function. Inside this function, what and all you want to write, just to provide the indentation, you make writing here. Okay, so after keeping the indentation, it is the meaning that what and all, how many lines it is taking the spaces, that all lines belong to this function only. Okay, so now see what I'm going to print it here is print it. Okay, so myself. So I'm just writing here is, I'm just providing the name. Later, okay, myself Gowthami, I'm teaching. Okay, what I'm teaching? I'm teaching the Python course. So I'm providing the course. Okay, so now here I have given some sentence. So if I run also, you will not see any output because you should call this function name. So now I'm calling that function name, you will see the output. How many times I run also, you will get the same output because these variables are storing the static values. What it is storing? Static values. How many times I run also, it is giving the same output. So if you want to give dynamic values, you can make use of an input function. That is one thing. But here, instead of creating the variables here, you make creating, okay, you just use these variables as a parameters here. So what I'm saying, instead of writing, actually these are called global variables. Okay, so these are called global variables. Okay, so sometimes this will not get affected when you are using inside the functions. So that case, what we will do here is we are going to provide as a parameters these variables. See here, I'll copy this code and I'm pasting it here. So let's create the variable names like name and course. Okay, so now here I'll just change the function name like this. Just create the names. Okay, function name I'm creating, at the same time I'm creating the variable name also. So what I'm doing while creating the function, I'm passing a two parameters. So parameters is nothing but variables. Parameters is nothing but what? Variables. So you have given only the variables. Where is the values? If you run also, you will not see any output. It throws an error on it because you are passing the two parameters while creating that function. Then while calling that function, you should pass the two values for those two variables. That means you should assign values to those variables. The values that you will assign, right? That values I can call it as arguments. Values that I'm passing while calling is known as what? Arguments. So Gowthami, I'm writing course as Python. So now see, you will see the output as myself Gowthami and this and I'm teaching Python. See how it is going to be assigned means positions. Name one is in 0th position. So this value is going to be assigned to that one. Course one is in first position. This value will be assigned to that variable. Okay. So here it is not recommended to pass only one time. You can call this function by giving different values. For suppose if I'm giving my name, okay, Gowthami I'm giving, and I'm passing course as Java. Okay, so now when you're calling this function, you have given some other values. These values will be assigned to those variables. That time you will get one more kind of data. That means you can provide a different values while calling that function name. Understanding? So when you are creating the function, if you are giving some kind of parameters, then that kind of functions will call it as with parameters. Getting my point? So here there are different types of arguments actually. So here by default, the variables will read values based on their positions. Okay, and remember how many variables you have created while creating the function. While calling must and should give that many values only. Here you have created with two variables. While calling that function, you should give two values. If you are not giving, it throws an error that display function missing one required positional argument, that is course one. That means this name one is taking this value as per positions, and you didn't give any value. That's why it is saying that for course one there is a missing value, like that. So make sure how many variables you have given, so that many values you should pass while calling it. Okay, so now we'll see different types of arguments. So there are four types of arguments, ma. The first one that we have learned now itself, that is required or positional arguments. So the values is going to assigned to its positional variables. Okay, that is one kind. A second kind here is keyword arguments. What is the second kind here is keyword arguments. And third type here is default arguments. And fourth type here is variable arguments, or we can say it as arbitrary arguments. Okay, so this one we finished just now. So this is what this. Okay, when it is following the positions, then that kind of argument I'll call it as positional arguments. I'll make it down. So I want to share this file, right? That's why. Okay, so first one I have explained. Now let's move to the second kind of argument, that is a keyword arguments. When this keyword argument will be used, see, when we don't know the exact position of the variable, that time what happens, the values will be misplaced to those variables. For suppose if you see here, I'm creating one function def, okay, mismatch, just giving some name, that's it. Okay, here I'm going to give here as, so some variable name, so course, okay, course, and I'm giving something like timing, okay, time. I'm just giving one variable time. Okay, so now I'm going to print these values. Let us take, okay, my course is, okay, that variable name you give it. What is the variable name that you have provided? That variable. Okay, and one more statement that I want to print here is timings. I mean, which variable is stored in the variable time. So now when I try to call that function, mismatch function, I don't know where the course variable is present and time variable is present. What I will do, I'm going to pass values like this, 6 comma Python I have written. That time what it will do, by default it will follow the positions only. That means required arguments. So course will take 6, time will take Python. Then what happens, my course is 6, timings Python. Is it the correct way? No. Then what you will do here is, if you don't know where the variable is exactly present, then what you can do here is you can make use of the keyword arguments. While calling that function, you should say like this. So this value should be assigned to this variable time, and this value will be assigned to that variable course. So then here we are not following any positions. So based on the parameters, you are assigning the values, so that it will be assigning to those places only. See here, so time is equal to 6. So this 6 will be assigned to this variable. Course is equal to Python. This value is going to be assigned to this variable. So by storing those values, it will give the correct outputs. Okay, so this is what are keyword arguments. And one more type of argument here is a default arguments. What is the one more kind? Default arguments. What is mean by default arguments here? Default arguments, I already explained here. See, I'll just copy this code and I'm pasting it here. See, when I'm trying to miss any value to the variables, see, while creating that function, I have given two variables. But while calling, I have given a single value. That time it is throwing an error. You didn't do wantedly. By mistake, you have given only one value. To overcome this, what we can do here is, while creating that functions, you provide some default values like this. Okay, what I can say, GS, Okay, and for this course, I'm going to give here as py. Okay, so now what I'm doing here, while creating that function, I'm just providing some default values to those variables. If you try to miss the values also, it will not throw an error. If you have given the value, it is following the positional arguments. So if you have given one value, this value will be assigned to this variable. That means name one, it will take Gowthami only. But you didn't give value for this course one. That time what it will do, instead of throwing an error, the default value will be assigned to it. See here, it is getting py. For suppose if you didn't give any value while calling, then you have given some values while creating. Those two values will be assigned. For suppose if you have given two values while calling, then whatever the values you have given while calling, those values will be assigned for that. When these values will be taken means when you are missed to provide values, that time it will take it. That means it is an optional. Instead of providing the error, it will make use of these default values. For suppose, ma'am, I know the course. Then you have given the course. I already said that the values will be follows the positional arguments only. But this value is meant for what course that you know, but machine cannot understand. This Python will take for this variable only n1. That is not correct. So you need to specify with the help of keyword like course 1. So the value that I am giving here is for course, but I didn't give for name 1. Then it will take this GS like this. So this is about default arguments. Let's have one more kind of argument called variable arguments. What is this variable arguments will tell? So usually every variable will take a single value. Okay, but here I want to provide a multiple values to single variable. Then you make use of this argument. Let's have an example. Def subject, this is a function name. Inside this I'm providing one variable that is course. Okay, so now what I'm doing here is, so just I'm providing what? Course variable. Now while printing that course variable, okay, what it will give, what value I have given while calling this, that value will be printed for us. Correct. So now see here, I'm just calling that function with giving a value as a Python. So if you are giving single value, no issues. But my aim is to provide a multiple values to this variable for this parameter. If I try to write a multiple values at a time, Java, then Mernfullstack, then AI, like this, I want to provide a multiple values to this single variable. Usually it will not happen. It throws an error. Actually, subject takes only one positional argument, but you have given 5. That is true. It will not take it. When you make this variable as an arbitrary argument, then it will hold a multiple values. How to represent this arbitrary argument or variable argument means just to prefix that parameter with a star symbol. Then this variable is known as a variable argument. Then it will hold multiple values at a time in the format of tuple. Now see that in the format of tuple. So that is the purpose of using this variable argument. This is all about types of argument. And one more thing that we are going to learn here is return keyword. So I already mentioned about this. So this is also one type of jump statement. Okay, this return keyword will be used inside the functions only. So what is the purpose of using this return keyword is for displaying purpose only. See, whenever you are creating the functions in order to display any kind of statements, any kind of expressions, we are making use of the print function only. You can also make use of this return keyword, but you should follow some kind of rules. Okay, you should follow some limitation. It will provide some kind of limitations. So you should utilize it. It means you should avoid that kind of limitations. So you should follow some rules. What are all rules that we will see now? For suppose I want to perform addition of 3 numbers. What I want to do? I want to perform addition of 3 numbers. So usually what we will do? We are going to create one function, and I'm just giving one function name as addition. For creating, for performing a addition of three numbers, I'll pass a three variables like this: x comma y comma z. Okay. Now here what I will do here is inside the print function, I am doing like this expression x plus y plus z. So once I call this function, what I will do, I'll pass some values like this, so that it will go, these values will be assigned to those variables, and it will perform this expression and will give the output as 17. Okay. See, whenever you are trying to print expressions, instead of giving the print function, make use of the return keyword. See, just copy this and paste it here. And instead of writing the print function, use a return keyword and write the expression. So now run the program. You will see the same output. But remember, after writing the return keyword, whatever you write the code inside that block, those and all invisible. See here, inside this function, I have written one more word statement called hello using the print. While displaying, can you see this hello word? Hello? No, because once you use a return keyword, what and all you have written after that, those and all invisible. So make sure what and all you want to write, then write it before itself. Write it before itself. Write it before itself. And this is a one limitation. And what's the second thing here? What is the second thing? Here, see, you are developing one application. In that application, this is one block. Okay, after calling this function, you will write some other code also, like welcome to Python course, this kind of sentence, and you will go on. You'll write so many lines of code. See, if in the inside the function you use a print function for printing this expression, okay, so that if you write after calling this function some other print statements, it is okay, it will get printed. But when you are using the return keyword, inside the function, you call that function, that is well and good. But when I try to print some other statement after that function call, what happens? You see there. You will not see this expression output because the output is returned inside this. Okay, returned, but you need to print it. That means while calling that function name, you should print it. That you should remember. You should remember that. When you are writing a print function inside that function, when you are using the print inside that function, you can call it directly, no problem. Okay. But when you are using the return keyword, if you are working functions alone, then it is okay. But functions will be in between some program. Okay. Means in that application, there might be displaying some multiple outputs. That time, if you use a return keyword and if you didn't call that function inside the print function, that output will be hidden. So that's why when you are using the return keyword inside the function, make sure while calling that function name, you should make use of a print function. Till here, clear? Clear? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is about return keyword. And the next thing that we are going to see here is different types of functions. Like now we are going to see here is a recursion function. So what is the usage of this recursion function? Calling function itself. That means calling the same function again and again in that function itself. Then that kind of function I can call it as recursion function. So while using this recursion function, you should follow two cases now. The first case I can say here is base case. Base case is nothing but you need to specify where to stop using the condition. And second case, what you should give here is recursion case. Okay, recursion case. That means until satisfies this condition, you need to do recursion. You need to call that function. Means you need to call function again and again. constant should follow these two cases. Let's elaborate this with example. See, so there are so many examples. Let's take a simple example, that is a factorial. Factorial. So factorial means what? You know, it's a mathematical program. So it's a mathematical problem. See here. So like this, for example, if I'm having a 4 factorial, what is the expansion of this 4 factorial? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Basically, how we need to elaborate this one here is, actually it is like 4 into 3 factorial. That means you are having a factorial inside this, one more factorial. Again, this 3 factorial will be elaborated to what? 3 into 2 factorial. This factorial is again and again inside this. Again, 2 factorial will be 2 into 1 factorial. Again, this 1 factorial will be 1 into 0 factorial. This 0 factorial will be 0 into minus 1 factorial. Is it correct? No. You should stop somewhere by giving the condition. We know that 1 factorial is equal to 1, 0 factorial is equal to 1. Either you stop at 1 factorial or you should stop at 0 factorial. You should not proceed like that only. So now whenever you are proceeding like that, when you are getting 0, the output again becomes 0 only, right? Yes or no? So you should stop somewhere, either at 1, either at 0. Until the condition gets satisfied, you need to call that function again and again. Okay, so in our program, we are not using these symbols. Instead of using these symbols, I'm going to create one function name like this, fact. So if you observe carefully how it is looking like, what will be the formula you can generate with the help of this? See, 4 factorial is equal to 4 into 3 factorial, you can see. For suppose if I'm having n is equal to 4, how can you create a formula for this expression? N factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial, right? This is the formula, right? So n means 4. 4 factorial is equal to n means 4 into 4 minus 1 is 3 factorial. You are getting it, right? Yes. Now, with the help of this expression, you are going to call that function again and again. Now we'll see the program. What I can do here is, instead of providing these symbols, I will make use of the function name. Fact of n is equal to n into fact of n minus 1. Okay, so now let's write the code here. Def, what is the function name that I want to create is, here is fact of n. Indentation symbol. I said to follow 2 cases. Base case, that base case is where to terminate. It means where to stop. If your n value is 0, that time I want to return the value as 1. If it is 0 factorial, you will return 1. If it is 1 factorial, you will return 1. So I'm using this case. If it is 0, it returns 1. So until this condition gets satisfied, I need to call this function again and again using this formula. So return n into fact of n minus 1. So this function is calling again inside the same function. So this kind of process, we'll call it as a recursion function. This is a base case. And this is the recursive case. In the recursion case, it is getting repeated. The function is calling again and again. Okay, let's explain this one. I'll call this function. How to call this function? Inside the print function, because I use here return keyword. So print fact of, what is the n value that you want to give? 4. Okay, so now the n value is 4. It will check the condition. Is 4 equal to 0? No. So that time it will come to the else block. So it will make use of this expression. 4 into fact of 4 minus 1 is what? 3. That means again you are calling that function. 4 into 3 factorial. So actually this is what 4 factorial, right? So we are making this one fact of 3. So you are calling this function again. So now what is the value of n now? 3. So it will check again. Is 3 equal to 0? No. It will come to the else block. Again, this value will be getting forwarded only. So 4 into fact of 3. What is the formula? This one only. 3 into fact of 3 minus 1. That is 2. That means this is getting elaborated as 3 into 2 factorial. Like this. Now, again the function is calling here with the n value as 2. So n value is updated to 2. 2 equal to 0. Condition is wrong. It will come inside and it will print 4 into 3 and it will getting forwarded. Fact of 2 is this one. 2 into fact of n minus 1 means 2 minus 1, that is 1. So you are calling that function again. That means it is looking here as 2 into 1 factorial, like this. Again, you are calling the function with n value as 1. Is 1 equal to 0? No. It will come inside and this will be like that only. Fact of 1 means what? 1 into 0 factorial. So 1 factorial is now what? 1 into 0 factorial. That means here you will write factor of 0. So now again you are calling with the n value as 0. So now n value becomes now 0. So 0 equal to 0. Condition is true. So it will come inside and it will return for this as 1. So you just multiply 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So the output will be like what? 24. Okay. So now we'll see this one. So write the program here. Performing factorial. So we know the formula. What is that formula? Fact of n is equal to n into fact of n minus 1. Okay, just implement this one. Def fact n variable. Okay, inside this function, I will write the first base case. When the n value is getting 0 or 1, you should return value as 1. If this condition is not getting satisfied, until that, you should repeat. You should call that function again and again with the help of this expression n into fact of n minus 1. So now you should call this function inside the print function. The reason I already said. So fact of, I'm going to give it now 4. Same explanation, you can see the output is 24. How many times I run also, the output will be the same. So instead of giving the direct value, what I can do here is I'm going to create one variable. While running, I will give one value using the input function. Usually input function will treat all values like a string. So here, if I want to perform a factorial, it should be like an integer. So I will typecast to the integer data type. And the value will be stored in this variable. That variable I will pass to find the factorial. So now what is the value that you have stored in this variable? That value will be assigned to this variable. It's not necessary that you should write only the nn. You can pass any kind of variable also, but what variable you are giving here, that variable should pass inside this function. And the value, what it is storing, that value will be assigned to this variable. Run and check now. So here it will ask you to enter the value. So let's give like a 5. So A is storing now 5. That 5 is going to be assigned to this and it is going to perform factorial and it will give output as 120. That is correct. So again I will run it. I just change this character A. Now run it. Again I'm giving 6. So A is going to store 6. The A will hold a 6 value. It will be assigned to the n. Based on that value, it will perform the factorial. That is 720. So like this, while executing, you can give the values. Based on those values, you will get different outputs. This is about recursion function. This is a one type of a function. Okay. The next thing that we are going to see here is a one more type of function here is lambda function. This I can call it as anonymous function. So the name itself, we can say that anonymous is nothing but no name. So when you are creating this function, the function will not have any names. If there is no name, how can you give values if there is a parameters? It is very much difficulty, but you can be able to give with the help of this. And what is the purpose of using this lambda function here is, if you are having a single line expression in your function, then make use of this lambda function. And this lambda function is created with the help of a keyword called lambda. So usually all functions will be created with the help of def keyword, but this lambda function will be created using a keyword called lambda. And this lambda function will not have any function names. Okay, no function name, no function name. Okay, remember. And there is a syntax for implementing this function. That is, you will make use of a keyword called lambda. You can pass how many arguments you want. That means the parameters, and with the help of those arguments you can write the expression. This is the syntax. Now see, let us understand a simple example without using this lambda function. Later I will apply the lambda function on that program. So for example, we know how to perform addition of two numbers. Why I am saying every time this one means it will be good understanding. That's the reason. So now see, I want to perform addition of two numbers using the normal functions. How we will do? Like this, similarly, def add function, I'm passing a two variables. Okay, so I'm just going to print a output as x plus y, not x plus y. What I need to print here? A plus b. Then while calling that function name, I'll pass some values. So you will get this output. So inside this function, you are having a single line expression. So instead of using this normal functions, you can make use of the lambda function. Okay, so how to generate this using lambda function, we'll see now. So now we are generating this program using the lambda function. So we know the formula. Here see, lambda, arguments, expression. This is the formula. You should make use of it. See, lambda keyword. For performing addition of two numbers, how many parameters you need? Two parameters. Let us take s comma t. So with the help of these parameters, you will provide the expression for addition of two numbers, that is s plus t. Okay, so now you have provided the parameters. You said that there is no, so we said that there is no function name. Then how can I assign values for this? Very simple. Assign this function to one variable, z is equal to. While printing that function, you just pass the values to those variables. That's it. While printing this variable, you just pass values for those parameters, and the values will be assigned to those variables in positional. That this is what a lambda arguments. It's a single line expression. Okay. So now we will see some functions that are present in our Python program is map function and filter function. Okay. So what is this map function? So what is the see, I want to apply one expression to all of the values that are present in my sequence data type. Usually what we will do, we will write multiple lines of code. So instead of doing that one, we can apply this map function on the data type. See, for example, what I'm saying. See, for example, I'm having one list. L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with the help of this list, I want to create a, what I'm saying, I want to create a new list, okay, where it has squares of, okay, squares of values from the given list. That means in the new list, I want values, okay, of what? Of the given list. That means in the new list, what I need? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Usually what we will do to generate a new list, to create a new list. Now I want to create it using the functions, normal functions. Here we are learning the functions concept only, right? So I need to create it using the functions only. Then how it is possible? Simple. You create one function, def new list. Okay. Here I'm just passing one L variable. Okay. So inside this L variable, inside this function, you are going to create, inside this function, we are going to create one empty list. Correct? Now, I want to iterate. Here, I'm not providing any list now. I'm not providing the list now. Where you should provide this list? While calling this function, that time you should pass this list values. Okay. So now what I need to do here, when I call this function, you are going to pass the values. Okay, like this. You are going to pass the values like 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. So these values will be assigned to this variable. Okay. So what I need to do, this variable should get iterated and the values will be stored in that variable. So I in L. What and all values is storing in this variable, that value should be squared and added in this variable, empty list. So what I'll do, in the empty list, I need to add. So I'm using append function. The values will get squared. You can make a power operator or you can do multiplication of that variable. I into I, that means 1 into 1, 2 into 2, 3 into 3, 4 into 4, 5 into 5, like that. Or you can make 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, similar only. So this L values will be storing in this variable. So after performing the square, you are just adding into that variable. Once that list iteration, list is done, it will come out of the loop and it will print our a new list. So these many lines we will write usually. Correct? These many lines we will write it. See here in the new list you are having the values. Getting my point? So in this variable only you have stored these squares. So these many lines you are following when you are applying the normal functions concept. If I know the lambda function and map function, you can do it in a single line. How it is possible? See, I'm having one list now. Okay, let's write that list. Now, I know the lambda function. So what is the syntax of the map here is, you should provide a function and you are applying the map means you are going to write the function which is called a lambda function or data type, whatever you want you can give it here. Okay, you can write a data types or you can write a function names in that first place, and you have to provide the variable name on what variable you get affected. You need to provide that, you need to get effect, that variable name you should provide. See, I'm using this map function here, map function. Now I'm using the lambda function. In that lambda function, I'm going to write the expression. That expression I'm going to apply to that variable name. That is L variable. See, now lambda function. Let us take x. This is the argument. And with the help of this argument, I should write the expression. So you want to perform squares. So I can write x star x. So this expression should get effect to which variable? This L variable. So you should pass a L variable. So now you print this one or you store in one variable as you like. Okay. So now NL1 is equal to. Now I'll print that variable name. So NL1. So you are getting what? Object. That means address. So after applying this expression to those values, in which format that you need to print? Either it should be a list, either it should be a tuple, or it may be some other way. I need to display it in the list format. You need to typecast it. You just say it like a list format. Now you can see the values are in a square. In the new list, you have got it like this. So how many lines you use here? Here you just use only a single line. That is what the usage of this lambda function and this map function. Map function will affect to each and every value this expression. Getting my point? And one more thing that I need to check here. For suppose, if I want to check what and all even numbers, what and all odd numbers. So in the complete list, you need to find out in which places you have odd values, in which places you have even values. For suppose if I'm having like this, if I'm having like this, I'm having these values in the L1 variable. So I need to find out in which places I'm having odd values and even values. That time you can also apply map function at a time. So what I will do for getting even and odd, what you can do? You can write it like x modulus of 2 equal to 0. If this condition is getting satisfied, that place it will give it as an true value. In remaining places, it will give as a false value. So now run and check it. Now you can see this is a even value true. This is a odd value false. This is a even. This is also odd false. Odd false. Even true. Odd false. Like this. Map will affect this condition or expression to each and every value. For suppose if I want to print only the even values from the list of values, I need to segregate only the even values. I don't want to print true or false. I just want to print only the even values. Then filter function will be applicable. Now see, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. Now, instead of using the map function, I will write filter. Then what it will do? Wherever this condition is getting true, only those values will be reading and storing in the format of list and assigned to this variable, and it will be printing. Now run and check it. See, what are the even values you have here? 34 and 76, only those values. Filter is used to segregate the values based on the given condition, based on the given expression. So this is what about map function and filter function. So by this we finished our functions concept. Till here understood everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? No doubts? Bye-bye. Hope you thoroughly understood these concepts. If you are having any doubts, comment below. If you are not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel and support my channel. Like, share, and comment below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.